Okay, so we're recording, and now let me share frequently used docs. All right. In the seller listing docs, let's go over this first. First of all, we got agency, right? You know how to do agency.
Right.
Either way, you're going to put in here your name. You can, if it already said Joseph Barata, put / Ben Suarez.
Okay.
where we goes, that's the name of the client. If it's it's only one person. If it's we, it's Bob and Mary Jones. Both
Okay.
names go there, and I need signature of both people down here.
Okay.
All right.
All
We've
right.
also got advanced consent to dual agency, because in case somebody calls you from the sign, we need permission for you to represent that buyer as well.
Gotcha.
All right. Most likely, I mean, if you do an open house, you might get your own buyer. We've been very lucky with that lately, some of the people here, but most likely if somebody calls you from the internet or something, it's going to be your buyer and your seller. So we need permission to do that.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, fair housing, same document, provided to me by Ben Suarez, we, Bob and Mary Jones, signing this one, and then their seller. So you're going to circle seller on there, or they could just put their initials above the word seller. It doesn't really matter. We can circle it later. It doesn't matter. All right, that's fair housing. Next, this is the new one.
All right.
It's the right to represent. This one is we, client name, located at, address of the property. Do hereby give you, Ben Suarez of Joseph Barata and Company Realty, the exclusive right to sell property for whatever they decide to list it for.
Okay.
And we're taking this listing for a whole year.
Okay.
All right. No one really balks. And if they know you, they're not going to balk.
Okay.
Not saying that it's going to take me a whole year to sell your house, but on and off, sometimes, they get delayed, and I don't want to have to renew this thing in the middle of a transaction. But most likely we'll have this thing sold in a couple of weeks. There's hardly anything. Where's the property, by the way?
I don't have it. I think it's on. It's in Yonkers.
Okay.
Vineyard
So Yonkers is hot.
Yeah.
Right. And even if it is, if you lower the price, it's still going to get sold.
Okay.
All right. So the difference now between the old listing and the new listing was, I'm taking a listing for 5%. I'm going to give 2 of that to my buyer's agent that shows up.
Right.
We can't do that anymore. So right now it is the listing fee. We're getting 3% to list and market the property. That's us right here.
Okay.
Okay. And then how much do you want to give the buyer's agent?
Yeah.
So it's 3 and 2. That's a total of 5. All right. And this is above and beyond the 3% listing and marketing fee. So they're going to know it's 2 plus 3 is 5.
Okay.
All right. Buyer's agent commission, homeowner acknowledges if they don't offer an incentive fee, we have to put that on there, because some sellers, they read the news and they go, oh, I don't have to pay a buyer's agent anymore. You don't have to. Legally, you don't have to. I mean, this is your friend. He's probably just going to say, where do you sign? Every time it's a friend of mine, I highlight where they're supposed to sign, and they just sign it. All right. So, but in case you do get somebody in the future that says, I thought I don't have to pay a buyer's commission. Well, you don't. Read that. If you don't offer incentive fee, right, then that is going to discourage any agents from bringing their buyers here, because nobody wants to work for free.
Right.
That includes people from your office. So let's just say the guy says, I'm giving you, for instance, again, this is your friend, but let's just say the guy says, I'll give you 3% to sell my house, but I'm not paying a buyer's agent. Okay, great. So that means not even anybody in the office of mine is going to show your property.
Right.
Because the agents in the office, they want to help you sell your house, Ben. And they might have a buyer for your house, but not for free. I'm not bringing them. Right. So that's why it's just explains there. Okay. Homeowner understands the buyer might want to include the buyer agent commission, where we're going to put, you just leave that one blank or put NA in there.
Okay.
All right. And then buyer's representation, we're going to insist that the buyer has representation. They have to put a check mark here. They're going to put a check mark and insist, and they got to initial it. Okay. What's the option? Choose to sell to the buyer anyway, and hold the agent. In other words, if I bring a buyer and you don't want to pay a listing commission, if I bring a buyer, I cannot represent that buyer, which means if the buyer makes any screw ups or they screw up the deal and they end up suing you because they got screwed in this transaction because I can't help them, I'm not held responsible.
Okay.
That's what that pretty much says. So almost, not almost, every single listing that we've got, everybody's like, right, just fine. Just give them 2%. I don't want to deal with any legal crap.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So that's insist the buyer secures representation. So they're going to check it and initials there. And what I usually do, Ben, I print 2 copies of everything and I highlight everything. Like I'm going to already have a check mark in that one.
Right.
And I'm going to just put a highlighter through the initials, and anywhere that they're supposed to fill it in, I highlight it. Because
Okay.
sometimes you'll miss that when you get there, you're kind of nervous and you're not thinking, and then they miss something and you have to go back and get them to re-sign it.
Sure, sure. Okay.
All right. If they're going to let you put a lockbox, they may say we're always home. Okay, then we're not checking that off.
Okay.
And then can we put a sign on the property? No, I don't want you to put a sign, and I don't want you to put a lockbox. My answer is I do it really casually. I go, oh, great. The best kept secret on the internet. I can't, you want me to market and sell your property, but I can't tell anybody. Okay, great. But anyway, so the lockbox, that could go here or there, because there are people that are literally home, they work from home and they go, I don't want a box.
Yeah.
I'll let them in. You just need to let them know that if they don't want a box and you're going to let them in, you unlock the door and go away.
Yeah.
Don't be there to have conversations, because anything you say can incriminate you or lose value in the house.
Yeah.
Let them direct any questions they have to me, your listing agent. So
Okay.
lockbox, sign on the property. All right. Following paragraph, the broker's commission, that's not going to take place with your client, but you're not getting paid until closing. And then here, an exclusive right to sell. They need to understand that Mary and Bob, the minute I leave here, if your next door neighbor knocks on the door and says they want to buy the house, you're going to say, call my agent.
Mm.
So no matter what, I'm getting paid if we bring a buyer. If I can't sell your house, obviously I don't get paid. But if I bring a buyer or you bring a buyer, somebody meets you at work and they go, hey, Mary, I think I want to buy your house. I'm still getting paid. So you're going to just direct those people and say, call my broker. We really need to educate people on this because they don't know. And they'll start entertaining them and they'll show the house, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
Anything to do with this. That's the reason you hired me, is so you are free from liability in this transaction. I'm handling everything. Okay, that's that one. Termination. If they want to cancel it for some reason, again, this isn't for your friends, but for any reason they want to cancel this transaction between now and the listing contract, 3 months in, they go, you know what, Ben, I don't want to list the house anymore. Then just send an email to my boss and we'll cancel the agreement.
Okay.
All right. And pretty much that's it. It's exclusive listing agreement. And you're giving me the right to take pictures, yada, yada. And then homeowner's going to sign it. If there's 2, you're going to let the second person sign. So there's two signature spots here. Agent's going to sign it. That's you. And then when all's said and done, you send it back to me, all signed, and then I'll sign it and I'll return a copy to them.
Okay.
Or I'll send it to you and you can send it to them. So that's exclusive right to sell. So that's 3 so far. We're not done.
Gotcha.
Okay. Next is property condition disclosure form. Remember that one?
Yeah.
No more $500. Now you got to fill it out.
Ah, okay.
All right. So this has to be done when you get a buyer. You don't have to fill it out now. I'm going to leave it with you. But as soon as we have an accepted offer, the buyer's attorney is going to be requesting this filled out form from you. Pretty much, how long have you owned the property? Do you have any liens on the property? Are there anything I should know about? All right. And that's property condition disclosure form. You can leave that with them. They have an accepted offer. The attorney, we got to send this in. So as soon as you fill it in, send it back to me. And then as soon as we have an accepted offer, you, Ben, will be forwarding this to the attorney with the whole package.
Okay.
All right. Next, everybody has got cameras now. I can record you privately and I don't have to tell you. But if you and I are having a conversation and a third party records us or listens, that's called eavesdropping. You cannot eavesdrop. So that means you have a Ring camera. Great. You need to either shut it off. It is illegal for you to listen to the conversation that an agent has showing the house with their client. So it's going to say, I have one or I don't have one. It's deactivated. I will not record, stream, or transcribe. Because a lot of people have conversations, go, oh my God, I love this house. Get me this house. And then the seller knows that they're going to be hardball and they're going to hold out. Or people are saying stuff and the guy goes, listen what they said about my house. You know, how dare you? And they go, you were listening to our conversation. That's illegal.
Yeah.
So they need to do that and sign that as well. As a matter of fact, when you're taking a buyer out, this is one of the forms. It's a different one, but it's the buyer acknowledging to them that a seller, even though it's illegal, could be listening to you. So shut your mouth.
All right.
And most likely, if it's in Yonkers, it's not a new house. So we got lead paint.
All right.
Lead disclosure number 6. I numbered them, so you just go right through, get them all.
Gotcha.
6, most of the time, the seller has no idea if there's lead in the house. So they're going to check off seller has no known knowledge and seller has no reports.
All right.
And then you're going to initial right here in line F, agent informed the seller of their obligation. What is their obligation? If you knowingly know there's lead, documents certifying that the lead was acknowledged or it was found, you are required by law to surrender that. So your initials go here, the seller signs it, and you, the agent, signs it. When we have an accepted offer, you're going to take yours and send it to the buyer's agent. The buyer's agent will send you theirs. You'll have your seller sign it and you sign it, and then we switch back. So both parties have a completely signed disclosure form.
Got it.
By both parties. The lead-based paint pamphlet, this is really just for buyers. So if you had a buyer, you're going to send them a copy of this form. You can send it to the PDF if you had a buyer.
Sure.
If it's your buyer, you send it to them in an email and say, please acknowledge receipt of this email. And they reply and go, received, you're off the hook. You gave them the book.
Gotcha.
If your client says, I'm not ready now, but I'm ready in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, then you'll get a coming soon authorization done as well. 14 days tops. So if somebody says, I need 1 week, Ben, then you're going to fill this out. If they're just like, I don't want to list this, and quite honestly, you can get everything signed and hold this off until the first week of January.
Okay.
That to me would be the smart thing to do. Because I don't think anybody's coming out Thanksgiving week, first 2 weeks of December, and then it's Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
But get it all signed. And then we'll make it live right after the new year.
Okay.
Always get it. Even if somebody says, I'm ready in 2 months, get it signed and go, we don't need to put an on market date yet until you tell me you're ready to pull the trigger. But get it signed first. It's always the best way to do it. And that's it. So that's all we got for that. What you could fill out well, this is somebody that you know, so it doesn't really matter. But take a look when you're in this folder. I do believe that, let me make sure that you have access to frequently used docs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I did at one point.
Yeah, you're already in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're already in there. So you should familiarize yourself so that this is not brand new to you.
Gotcha. All right.
Right. That's pretty much it. Other than that, we have a photographer that comes out. He's like 100 and if in Yonkers, it's probably going to be like 125. And he takes about 50 pictures. He's great. If they want a virtual tour for whatever reason, that's probably another $150 more.
All right. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway, so I could be sure to know. That comes from my pocket?
Photographer, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
125, 50 pics. Okay. All right.
And he takes beautiful pictures. He's the same guy that worked for the photography company that we used to use.
Yeah.
And the reason we didn't use them anymore is because they raised their minimum price to $400. And they only give you 5 pictures. You got to pay extra for all the 5 pictures. So it turns out that he is the same photographer that goes for them. And he just does it now. And he still gets work from them, but he gave everybody his card and goes, call me directly. you know, you could just pay me. You don't have to go with the higher rate.
Yeah.
So we started using him exclusively instead of the Yonkers. And I just used him last week, and I'm using him again on Tuesday. We got a new listing in Monroe on a lake next week. So that's it. Other than that, I would print, again, there's two options. You could print one copy and then use the Genius Scan and scan the whole thing. Don't take pictures of it, doesn't come out good.
Okay.
Or better, what I like to do better is I make two copies, highlight everywhere that they're supposed to sign, and then one is stapled, that's yours, and you bring it back and you give them the other copy, make them sign both.
Gotcha.
Very easy to do. And
That's
if
probably
highlighted, you can't screw it up because you'll make sure everything that's highlighted is initialed or signed, and then bring it back and either drop it off at the office or scan it and send it to Fred. I like originals better. We scan it, then we dump it. Like you don't have to, I don't keep paper. So you can have it back once it's scanned.
I think I'll stick to the original and physical because the gentleman is somewhat more, let's say, classic, and I'm sure that the idea of doing stuff technologically is probably not going to float his boat. So I'd rather just have the physical.
Yeah, it's always good to have the paper copy for you. What kind of house is it? Single family or
a single family? But he's been using it. He owns it, but he's been owning it forever. He's actually been renting it out for the past several years.
But only one apartment.
Only one apartment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 3-bedroom, I believe. 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay. Yeah. So as soon as you get a signed listing, what we'll do is we'll put it in WhatsApp and just say, hey, I got this listing that'll be available after January 1st or whatever date they say they want to do it. Yeah.
So actually, I do have another question about a different client, a buyer client. They're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath. They're looking for a nice big house, and they had originally a pre-approval letter for 600.
Right.
They didn't want to travel too far, so they were looking like basically Upper Westchester, Lower Putnam.
Okay.
And yeah, and they apparently have a really good credit history because they want to see a house that was 625, and when they went and spoke to their mortgage guy about it, the guy gave them a new pre-approval. And then they want to see another house that was 675. And when they told their mortgage guy, the mortgage guy told them, listen, I can write the pre-approval. You guys have the money for it. It's just a matter of how much do you want to pay a month.
A month, right, right. You're qualified, but are you comfortable with the payments?
Yeah, you're looking at paying $4,000 or you're looking at paying $5,500.
Right.
So ultimately, I decided not to go with that house. But the question I had for you was, originally they had told me 600,000. That's kind of where they wanted to look at, where they felt comfortable at. And then when I was sending them listings and ideas, hey, look at this one, look at that one, they sent me a couple like, hey, can you check this one out for us? And I noticed they were sending me some for like 640, 630. At the time, their pre-approval was still 600,000.
Right.
So I was like, is it inappropriate or just a waste of time to be showing them houses over their pre-approval budget?
As long as they are pre-approved for more, then you could do it.
Okay.
Right. So you could call the agent that wrote the approval letter and just say, hey, I'm the buyer's agent and they want to go look at stuff a little bit more. He may just say, show them whatever the heck they want. Right.
Okay.
Up to 700. That's cool. And then when you find something, you get a higher pre-approval. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. If you're going to be out with a buyer, from now on, there's no more commissions, as you noticed on the listings.
Yeah.
So each time, let me share that with you now.
All right.
Hang on. One more thing we got to go through. We're going back into the buyer's agent folder this time. And there's another one on here. So you're going to find the property and they go, oh my God, I love it. Before you make the appointment, you got to call the agent up and go, hey, Mary, this is Ben from Barada Realty. I want to show 125 Cherry Street. You guys offering out a commission? You are? Great. How much? 2%? Perfect. So now you could go take them out. When you do put the offer in, you're going to attach number 3 here, compensation agreement, because remember, the money doesn't come from the broker anymore.
Okay.
It comes from the seller directly. So even though the agent said, yeah, 2%, the seller could always say, my agent said 2%. I didn't say I'm giving you 2%. So when you submit the offer and the offer is accepted, you're going to fill out a cooperating broker, that's buyer's agent,
Okay.
a compensation. So you're going to be checking off buyer's agent right here. The cooperating broker is me.
Mhm.
You're the cooperating broker agent.
Uh-huh.
And the seller is going to initial that they understand that that's not a set commission. And you're going to write in, if they said 2, 2.5, 3, you're going to write that in here. And the seller has to sign this and send it back
Gotcha. Okay.
after you have an accepted offer.
All right. So just to confirm then, so now I'm actually, every house I want to show, I have to call that agent up and ask them,
Yes. Are you offering out a commission?
are you offering out a commission? Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it is how much?